Well, everybody has to understand something about Chef Otto, and I'm going to speak on this
Yeah.
because he's a friend now,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you the story with Chef. I couldn't stand him. I thought he was a pompous asshole. I 3 months before he opened the restaurant, Eater did a little blurb, and he was a dickhole. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? He was like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Chicago doesn't even have any good sushi. And then 3 weeks before he opened, and I told myself then, I'm never going to support this guy. He's not from Chicago, and not that I automatically not support people from
Right.
Chicago,
Right.
but people like that
Yeah.
aren't from Chicago.
Right.
And then 3 weeks before he opened, Phil did, or someone did, a small article on one of the first three omakase bars, sushi restaurants are going to open. Chef Otto's from Austin, and here's his statement. And they quote him saying, like, now they've been here for 3 months. I've eaten at a lot of sushi places. Nobody knows what they're doing. We have access to an international airport and can get, like, nobody even has good fish. Nobody even knows what good sushi is on the guest side. Like, he was calling out
Right.
guests that they didn't even know what good sushi was anyway. So I'm like, this guy's a fucking asshole. I'm not going to support him. And it was funny. I didn't even care to track his success or when he opened. I'm like, I don't even care what happens to that guy. 3 months later, one of my really good friends said, hey, I trust your judgment. I've gone to all your restaurants. I love your opinion and value it. And I know you don't probably, like the rest of the city, have a really good perception or taste in your mouth about Chef Otto, but I bought the place out on Sunday. He's closed on Sundays, and I bought the place out, and I want you to come as my guest, and I want you to give me your honest opinion.
No shit.
Because I think it's really great. And I said, no, absolutely not. And he said, okay, I understand. Then he called me he texted me the next day, and he's like, look, I invited your best friend Eric. And will you go? And I want you to be open minded, and I want you to like not hold a grudge. And I'm like, he's like, will you do it for me? And I go, well, now that you put it that way, absolutely. And now I have someone to sit next to,
Yeah.
to talk shit to about Otto. So we go, and I sit there, and the first thing is, I realized that he's nothing like what I had perceived.
Interesting.
Because he's quiet. He's not saying anything. He said maybe one or two things
Right,
about the rice,
right,
which
right.
impressed me because the
Yeah.
rice, sushi, not many people realize this, but like sushi literally means sour rice. So the most important component of sushi is the rice, not the fish. Although
Interesting.
you have to have amazing fish,
Right.
the rice is the most important part. And so the only thing he said was, I make this rice in small batches. There's 8 people here right now. I just make enough for 8 people. I don't make it in large batches, and it sits there and it cools off like it's body temperature. It's like risotto size
Yeah. It's
pearls
nice.
of rice,
Yeah.
and all sushi rice. 9/10 of it comes from California, right?
Okay.
This is a hybrid heirloom strain of rice from Japan, and only 2 restaurants in the United States, well, in the world, carry it. One's a 3 Michelin star restaurant
Masa?
in Japan,
Oh, in Japan. Okay.
and one's
Damn.
Kyoto.
Badass.
So right away, as soon as I took the first bite, I go to Eric. I go, this fucking rice is amazing. And Eric's just like that. He's like he loves sushi, and I think on the third bite, I think Chef kind of read my reaction to it. He's like, and he was very soft spoken and very humble when he said his
Yeah.
first words to me. He's like, I know who you are. Pat told me he was inviting you, and I really appreciate you coming, to experience my omakase, and I, value your opinion, and please tell me if you want more wasabi or less wasabi. He tells everybody that.
Right,
and
right.
I just thought it was great that he finally engaged with his guests and
Yeah.
with me. And then I'll be honest, halfway through it, I think it was like 15, 16 bites. I think right around the 10th bite, my best friend Eric was like, and Pat, my friend, was sitting there like this, and he's like,
Yeah.
right? He's like, what I tell you, and I'm holding and reserving my opinion and my reaction and my expressions and everything, and I whisper into Eric's ear, I'm like, holy fuck, this is good sushi. And he's like, I think it's great. I'm like, this might be the best sushi in the city. And by the end of the meal, like it was the last bite that he put up there, and he's like, I'll be in the gallery to
Yeah.
to receive you guys before you leave, and take photos and if you want and whatnot. And I waited till I went out there last. I waited till everybody, shook his hand and took pictures and everything. I was like, look, I looked him in the eye, shook his hand. I was like, this is the best sushi I've had in Chicago. I think it's the best sushi right now. And, a lot of people in the industry who write about food or are involved in food, ask me my opinion a lot of times on what is great sushi and where I would go. And I told a lot of influential, preeminent people about it, and they wrote about it, and they talked about it, and they sent people there, and I did what I would do for anybody, not only because they're in the same industry as me, but to support. And I genuinely felt
Good work.
that strongly about it, that this is a place I love to go for sushi. And I went back 2 or 3 times with Eric and Pat, and then